WiseChase is brought to you by FeedFox, your digital advertising strategist, and produced by DNA Media Productions.
Welcome to WiseChase, a podcast for experts, startups, socialpreneurs, and passionpreneurs. Today I'm interviewing Fabio Marama, and we're going to talk about how he's grown his LinkedIn community from 1,000 to 10,000 followers in under 3 months. He's now had over 4 million combined views on his posts, and we're going to discuss why he chooses LinkedIn to post his content. And we're sharing some tips and strategies on how you too can gain more reach and grow your network. Fabio comes to us as a top up-and-coming business and marketing leader in Ontario, Canada. He's a partnership specialist for one of the largest credit unions in the country, a next-gen success speaker, a LinkedIn content creator, and a top 40 under 40 Business Achievement Award winner in 2017. Welcome, Fabio. I'm so excited to have you here again and share with everybody what you're doing with LinkedIn and how you grew your community with that one little article that's just kind of like taken off.
Jolene, it's a pleasure to be here. Love chatting with you all the time. So, but you're right. It just kind of started as my LinkedIn journey started as just sharing my own career journeys or my own story. And it started off with sharing essentially my journey from college and what I learned in college and some of the things that really helped change and shape the trajectory of my career. And that article really focused on, it's so funny, it's how rejecting PCP skyrocketed the trajectory of my career. And it really focused on when I was in college, the chair of the business school, I was only there a couple of years and I really wanted to make an impact. And I didn't want to waste my time. And the chair of the business school, long story short, in the article, he said, don't be a PCP student. Parking lot, classroom, parking lot. That was the acronym. Don't just park, come to class, and then go back to the parking lot and leave. You're only getting half of the success out of the college experience. And so I shared that and then essentially what the steps were along the way to help me in my career from that very point. And it's been a lot of fun to just grow the LinkedIn community and share great content and just engage with great people.
That's wonderful. So how did you sort of see your article grow? Like you just posted it, and what did you sort of start seeing happening on your LinkedIn, like with your notifications? What was going on for you?
Well, I actually did the article as just an opportunity for me to appreciate people. So I wrote the article, and then at the same time I did a post out and linking to the article. And I just tagged a bunch of great people in my life journey, in my career journey, in my college, when I was in college, those types of people that have had an impact on my life. And just essentially I said, here's my story. And I just want to say thank you for all that you've done. And it was great to get that feedback. And I just wanted to, I use it as a platform to appreciate others and lift others up for what they've done in my life. And I've just continued to do that on the platform with a lot of my posts, not just about some of the stuff that I've gone through, but help sharing some of the accomplishments of other people. And I think that's one of the biggest powers of the LinkedIn platform is sharing and appreciating and recognizing the accomplishments of others.
I think you're right about that because, I noticed that when you celebrate other people and you're telling their story where it's not just about you, that people can relate to that. And they think of it like, oh, like this relates to me and I really feel that. Like, I know that you follow a lot of influencers on LinkedIn. Can you share with us some of those influencers and what they're doing, some strategies that you're learning so that maybe some of, the people that are looking at this today, they can learn what they could be doing better on their LinkedIn?
Yeah. Number one, I think when people think of the word influencers, they think of, the Richard Bransons and the Gary Vaynerchuks of the world. But although they, of course, are influencers, you have to look at it from who are people that are creating the smaller communities that are growing and doing amazing things on the platform. So I essentially said, clearly, I'm not going to be able to have a voice with these people. I need to just start building community. I haven't earned anybody's trust yet. And that was the main point. And so I thought, okay, well, I have to start earning trust of people and sharing great content and really engaging with theirs as well. So I really started engaging with a lot of the people on the platform. And to be quite honest, there's not that many in terms of that are posting consistently and are engaging and growing communities on LinkedIn. It is a very grassroots and foundational platform, which makes it really exciting. So I really started seeing who's posting consistently, who's posting and engaging with community and commenting on other posts, making their own videos and lots of different things like that. And there were a few different people that I started to engage with and connect with and follow. People like Swish Goswami, who I've come to really know as a LinkedIn creator and a friend, and then Michaela, Alexis. Those are the two of the people that really I started to connect up with, and then Quentin Allums and Goldie Chan and some of these great people that just connected me up with some great community creators as well. And so yeah, I essentially just started engaging with great people. It's at the end of the day, you take away, just like your job, you take away titles, and you take away the LinkedIn platform. We're all just human. So the LinkedIn platform just gives us an opportunity to be human and just connect with people and engage with people and be real and authentic. And it's amazing what can happen when you do that.
Yeah, it's funny. There's somebody that one of my friends follows. I can't remember what his name is, but he's kind of a funny comedian. And he said, imagine that Instagram was deleted and boom, you're not a model anymore.
It's true. No, it's absolutely true. You have to look at it as it's just a platform and people are human. How can you just be more human on a platform like that? And so like you said, influencers are influencers, but they're people. And so just connect and be genuine with people and provide value. People always say, provide value. Look at solving people's problems. Look at if you post something, look at it as whoever's looking at that video or reading that post, are they going to walk away and learn something, or are they going to walk away and be motivated by that post to change that next step of their life, whatever it is. So that's sort of what I strive to do every single time I use the platform.
So can we talk a little bit about the difference between using LinkedIn versus Facebook? Because I know that Facebook has done a lot of work recently, like they've announced how they've, killed organic reach, where LinkedIn is actually rewarding content creators now based on, sort of an algorithm that they have that can benefit the content creator. Can you tell us a little bit about how LinkedIn rewards us based on how we engage on LinkedIn?
Absolutely. For what you said there about Facebook and Instagram and some of these other platforms, of course they're great, but they are very saturated. There's billions of people on them now, especially Facebook, and it is so much harder to get your voice to be heard. Especially if you want it to be heard, you do have to pay money sometimes, right? Of course, that's the way it works. But LinkedIn is such an interesting platform in that they're really reinventing themselves as not being that resume platform, and that it is an opportunity to be a content creation platform. And so I think it's really only been, I'm throwing this out there, but I'm going to say like 6 to 8 months, you really started seeing people actually start creating, which isn't very long for a social media platform. And so LinkedIn is absolutely rewarding people for creating good content. And they only released their native video in August. So August 2017. So it's still so very new, where people are starting to create video now, and they want people to use more video. So LinkedIn's always watching that kind of stuff. And yeah, they're definitely rewarding people that are creating consistent good content, but not just creating content, but engaging back with people, building community and engaging back with people.
So when you're talking about engaging, like, it's not just like, okay, I'm going to post something on my LinkedIn because I want to share something. It's also reaching into other people's articles and, posting a comment on there, liking their stuff, and engaging back with other people's articles as well, is what you're talking about, correct?
1,000%. That's the entire point. There's a lot of people out there that just post out on LinkedIn, and people comment and like their stuff, but they don't actually engage back. And I think that they're hurting a little bit right now in terms of their engagement. And yeah, I think that LinkedIn really wants people to start engaging with people. And by engaging is if you post something and someone comments and likes your post, what are you doing about it? If somebody comments, are you commenting back, appreciating them or asking a question right back at them? So that's not just on your content, which, by the way, if anybody comments on my posts, I almost get to every single comment. If there's 100 comments, I will respond to 90% of them if they're relevant as well. So the reason being is, I learned that from Swish as well. He said you have to respond to other people. You have to show that you care. And then at the same time, you have to jump into other conversations that's not your content. So if someone else is posting a video or posting a status update, whatever it is, a share, you have to engage with it and be like, this is awesome, this is fantastic, or talk about what you learned from it. And then that just shows you that now you're showing up in other people's feeds, which gives you more exposure to your platform and helps you build your own community.
And you know what, you're right about that, because I'm connected to you, and obviously you and I, we engage a lot through LinkedIn. And I think we need to sort of touch on a little bit how, it also matters that you have private messaging conversations with people inside of your LinkedIn, that there's an algorithm that LinkedIn is picking up as well, based on it recognizing, hey, Jolene knows Fabio. So, and she engages a lot with him through private messenger, or maybe she's liking his articles. So we're going to show Jolene more what Fabio is doing. So I'm actually getting a lot of notifications now. So I look at my app on my phone and it's like, you have a new notification, and it's like, Fabio is like this, Fabio has shared this, Fabio has tagged this thing, and I'm actually getting articles now that I don't even know these people. So then
Yep.
What's happening, I'm actually reading their articles, and I wouldn't have found them if it wasn't for me being connected to you. And because I actually engage with you, that's where I think a lot of people are benefiting. Whereas, if you are posting content on there, you can actually penetrate other people's networks based on those other people liking what you're doing. And I think that's where the biggest reward is coming in right now with what LinkedIn is doing for content creators.
You're absolutely right. It's like, I like to say it's like a spider web. So if you post something, the more people that comment and like, you essentially get access to many more strands of people that weren't necessarily in your network, whether they're third degree connections or second degree. So they're not maybe your direct connections. So that's where you get an opportunity to now be part of somebody else's network. And a lot of the other platforms don't do this yet, in terms of, if you like somebody else's post, you're now showing up on that person's feed that you're not connected with. It says Fabio liked this article or this video. So now, like you said, you're starting to see other people's content that you don't know about, is because someone in your network liked it. And so that's how you instantly get access to other people's networks and grow that community. And it's all through engagement. Really, LinkedIn wants people to engage, collaborate, and really just have good, genuine conversations. And so, you're absolutely right. That's how you start penetrating other communities and grow a community of your own, which is essentially the whole point of LinkedIn.
And there's also sort of something to talk about as well with posting your raw video on the platform, rather than hosting it on something like YouTube or your website or Vimeo or whatever. That LinkedIn, Facebook, like all of those platforms, they're actually wanting that raw file right on their platform. And they're also rewarding you by doing that as well, right?
Absolutely. So you got to think of them as a piece of technology. They don't want people that are engaging heavily on their platform to now click on a post that talks about a YouTube video, and now you're leaving their platform. Now you're going on YouTube and you're no longer on LinkedIn. So they obviously want people to stay on the platform. So it's really those are little tweaks to consider. Even if you're posting to a website or a landing page or a funnel or whatever it is, a YouTube video, it's always good to post the raw footage. Or if you want to link somebody to something, it's good to add it into the comments. So like, hey, I'm going to post it in the first comments under this video, and you can link to here, because that will get you so much more exposure with your post. Because then people are staying on the platform, and they can choose to click on that if they really wanted to. They're not forced to watch that piece of content or visit that article on another platform. They can watch it or engage with it right on LinkedIn.
So let's just back up here for a second, because for me, like being in marketing, our whole purpose is to drive traffic to a client's website, like what they're selling, or, even a book author, or, that you kind of want to utilize these platforms so that, you can content share, but then the end goal is to kind of drive the traffic back to your platform, which, it's your platform that you own, that is where you control your monetization, whether, you're selling something or you have a service, or it's a membership platform. That the goal to using social media is to try to drive that traffic off your site. So what are your thoughts around that? Because the strategy that I like to use when I post things for clients is, I'll post like a snippet where it kind of, it's an attention grabber, and you write a bit of ad copy with it. And then when they click on the video, that they might get a snippet of the video, or, they get a snippet of the article, but it says, read more here, which then takes that traffic back to the website where, that person can actually complete the sale or go through the conversion process. So what are your thoughts around driving the traffic off of these social media platforms?
Absolutely, especially if you have a business, right? Like that's the whole goal. You're not just creating content just for the sake of getting your message out there. There's people out there that want to use the platform as to grow business, and that's good, because that's a great part of utilizing the platform as well. But again, I like to say doing it in a genuine way. But there's a great person that I'm connected with, and love his stuff, and I'm closely connected with him and continually engage with him. His name's Kurt Mercadante, and I love he's got a really cool podcast. And he's doing what his strategy is, which I love, is he does video, he copies the video. So he will take that conversation in video as well as audio, and he has the audio podcast separate off of LinkedIn. I think it's SoundCloud or something like that. And he posts like a snippet, like 2 or 3 minute video on LinkedIn, and it's the interview of him with that person. And it sort of just gives you a taste of that interview, and it's like, I want to listen to the whole thing. And then he'll say, you want to listen to the full episode? First comment is here's the link to the full show. And it's great to listen to, because that's, especially if it's one of those, it's like, that was so good. That was such a enriching 2 or 3 minutes of good, valuable content from that person. I want to listen to the whole thing. Then you can drive people off that platform. So he uses that little snippet of video really well. To create that high engagement piece on LinkedIn. And like you said, in a raw format, it's right on LinkedIn, and you can watch the video without having to leave the platform.
And so, and just to back up a little bit, you also said to, you want to add it in the comments. So, you don't put everything into like the full area where you write your copy, that when people start commenting, that's when you can start to engage back and say, visit this here, or go check this out here. And that is probably a better strategy to do than just be like, read more here.
100%. That's where, again, it's a strategy for better reach as well, but it also keeps content clean, right? Where you have a lot of links and stuff in your content. You want to keep it crisp, clean, and full of value and learning. And so, again, that's where people post that in the first comments as a good strategy to say, if you want to learn more, not everybody will, but if you want to, and especially if people are really engaged and interested, they're going to listen to the full snippet where you're going to say, or you're going to have in your post. Look into the first comments for that full episode, or for the full, whatever it is, full video. That way they can engage with it a little bit further. And then that's where then you can start driving people from, let's say, that podcast or that book, whatever it is, into another funnel, and they can get to learn a little bit more about who you are.
That's interesting. So you and I have had big conversations, like in private, in terms of like how there's some people, like, even myself, I'm definitely, for what I do, doing digital marketing, I do a lot of social media marketing for clients and stuff like that. But when it comes to me, I'm very quiet. I'm more of what you call a creeper. I look at everybody's things. I don't necessarily engage. I don't comment, because as an advertiser, I know that those platforms are collecting that behavioral data on me. So, I'm like, well, I'm just going to be quiet. I'm going to be a reader. I'm not going to engage. But, it doesn't really help me as a business owner really get my voice out there. But the reason I don't is because I have those fears. I have those fears of exploitation. I have the fears of trolls. I do sometimes care, like, what are people going to think of the content that I'm doing? Am I good? How will I be able to deal with the people that are a bit negative on the content that I produce? So I'd really love for you to kind of share your story and how you first put yourself out there and said, hey, I'm going to do a video, and where you kind of overcame those fears of doing that.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I had those same thoughts in my head. Is who am I to create content? Am I even good as somebody can actually engage with me? What if I post something and I literally get crickets? And I thought, whatever. If I do, that's okay. Then at least I'm sharing my message. If it's one person that's affected and it's like, oh, I really learned something today from that, and it's a student who I have such passion for as well, so that young entrepreneurs and young professionals and students, that next generation of leaders. Then I'm like, cool, this is awesome. Well, even one person got some value from it. But I just sort of had to think, what, I just had to overcome those fears and those thoughts and just post. And then what really changed things for me was the amazing positivity of the LinkedIn community. 99.9% of people are so positive, and they're just, they lift you up and they engage back with your content, and they provide such great positivity in sharing stuff and engaging and connecting, that it made me just want to post more and more, because I'm like, I love these people. There's a lot of them have become my friends, and I like to say the LinkedIn fam, it's like a second family. And they're not just people who have careers and you're just connecting with them from a networking standpoint, which we think, oh, I'm networking with people, I'm engaging with good people, that can help me with my business. Well, there's great people that you can learn from. There's great people that you can get content from that's going to change perceptions and your thoughts, and maybe crush biases that you had because of somebody changing that perception from a good quality post. So that's really, really important. And then the other piece is, I like to say, when you're creating content, is go for quality. Go for quality, not for quantity. A lot of people say you got to post every day. I don't post every day. I post maybe 2 to 3 times a week, sometimes 4, but usually it's between 2 and 3 times. And I'll vary it up between different posts, video. I change it up lots. I don't want to exhaust my audience with the same content. So I change it up a lot, and quality is always better. And you have to think of, when you're posting, you have to think of 2 things. Is it valuable, and is it true? And a lot of things is, you want to post stuff that's true. That's not just, a lot of it's sometimes your opinion, but you definitely don't want to post something that's negative or derogatory, or sometimes if it's really, really controversial too. You have to think about your like to say, your personal brand, but everything you say is a reflection of you. And so that's always what you have to think about. When I'm posting something, I think about, what are people going to think about me after I post this? And that's very, very important.
And you're right about that. I definitely want to touch on that, because I know, being sort of like in the background, like when I was actually helping a lot of startups launch and hiring people and scaling businesses, when social media kind of arrived, is we really started to look at people's profiles on LinkedIn, on Facebook, wherever their social media was. We would find them to kind of get an idea of their character. What are they sharing? What kind of lifestyle do they have? Do they, and employers are actually really paying attention to that as well. So even if you're not an entrepreneur, I really think it's important that you're right. You think about your personal brand, like the kind of content that I'm producing. Could this affect me if I ever needed to get a job someday, or if I ever did want to be hired by a client? How is this affecting me personally by the type of content I'm producing, or what I'm saying, or how I'm speaking about other people unprofessionally? And I think, in terms of Facebook, I see that a lot, where, I'm looking through some people's feeds, and they're really airing dirty laundry on there, and where you're just like, I can't believe you're doing this, to your partner or your husband or your friend, because right away our instant reaction is to judge. We're instantly judging you as to why you're choosing a public platform to share very, very personal things on.
Yes, you know what? And then you have to think about, like you said, you have to think about all those little things. What are people going to think? And there's nothing wrong with posting something that can be debated. There's nothing wrong with that, because people have different beliefs and perceptions of business and marketing and their careers in life and whatever it is. But it's healthy debate is fine, right? But there's sometimes people that just post stuff that you're like, oh, you probably shouldn't really post that. But you know what? There's some good things about the platform too, which I think is changing, especially on LinkedIn. Is people think it's not Facebook, and it's not. But there's been some amazing leaps and bounds made in people sharing their true, authentic stories, getting vulnerable and saying, hey, nobody's perfect. This is what I'm struggling with, or this is what I'm struggling with my career. This is what I need help with. And it's amazing to see the community really rally around different people that are going through some of those trials and those tribulations, whether it's in their career or beyond. And that's what it's really for, that community. And I think LinkedIn is growing to such amazing heights that it's becoming more, again, like I said, more than just a recruiting and resume building platform. And I'm really excited to see where it's going to go.
I am too. And, something that I think I'd love for you to talk about as well is you're part of some LinkedIn pods. And, for the entrepreneurial community, some entrepreneurs, it can be a very isolating, lonely kind of journey. And LinkedIn has a fantastic demographic of people that, are like-minded. So can you kind of touch on some of the pods that you're part of? I know that you are in some that are a little bit exclusive and hard to get into. In terms of some influencers that are in it, but can you tell us a little bit about those, or how we can get into one or even create our own?
Yeah, I would say number one, your last point there is it's good to create your own, but the value is you can learn from so many great people. That's the great thing. If LinkedIn's about community, how can you engage and learn from people as often as you can? And we often in the group share best practices, things that we're learning. We even post stuff that trolls are saying about us, and like, hey, look what I got today. And then somebody be like, oh, guess what? I'm gonna respond back to them or whatever. And then it's just such a great. It's all about community. It's all about engaging with people, and that's what I love, especially about the pod is the people in especially one of the pods that I'm in is it's like you feel like they're your family. I really come to get to know them beyond just their beyond LinkedIn. And the other thing is LinkedIn Locals. So LinkedIn Local is becoming huge, especially in the world. It's, they had 40 cities sign up last year, and 100 cities now signed up this year. And I'm co-hosting the very first LinkedIn Local Hamilton here on February 20th. And so, yeah, it's you're seeing these people that you're in groups with, that you're engaging with. You're meeting at the closest LinkedIn local that you can, and now you're meeting them offline. It's just amazing, and now you're getting to know them beyond just the LinkedIn platform. You're getting to meet them in person and getting to really get to know them face to face. So the engagement groups or pods, like some people say, they're great from that community building perspective, but also helping with engagement, right? They help engage with your content and you on theirs, and it's a good way to see theirs as well, because sometimes other people's stuff that you want to see doesn't show up on your news feed, and you have to like consistently search people and then go see if they posted that day. So it's a great way for people to see, oh, this person already posted right away, because you're sharing that kind of stuff, and that's a great way to get that exposure and keep that consistent engagement, because now you're engaging with the people that you want to every single day, and you're seeing it.
That's amazing. So I think to wrap up here, to leave people like with some tips and tricks on LinkedIn is, I know that you had shared with me, you said, the best thing to do is don't sort of post the same stuff all the time. You want to mix it up a little bit where, do some short posts, some longer posts, some articles, and some video, and just mix it up. And that's where LinkedIn will reward you as a content creator and sharing your things based on mixing it up and not kind of being the same all the time. Even though a lot of influencers, they were, they had sort of a, what do you want to call it? Kind of like a formula that was working for them. And I know that there's a very popular influencer right now that you had mentioned, like he's struggling as well, because, he kind of had a style and he kind of posted it a very similar way. And LinkedIn kind of stopped I don't know if you want to say like kind of benefiting him in that way, or what was his challenge again, if you can kind of refresh my memory?
Yeah, it was more just posting the same type of content, which is amazing. Great storytelling content, but the thing is is you have to change it up. And I've seen this particular person do that now and starting to really grow again that engagement again. But again, it's then I'm seeing some other people that their engagement has never lagged. And I go back and I look at what they're doing, and I'm like, it's because they're changing it up. It's because they're keeping it fresh. They're posting different stuff that you can get. They're lifting other people up and not about themselves, and that's great to see. So I admire all of them, and I admire this particular individual as well. And so it was just great learning. Sometimes you go through learnings and you go through testing of different things. And you're like, that's not working well. Algorithms change and different things change. You have to look at how you can continue to grow that community, and you have to look at what's working too. So there's a lot of different tips that work that I like to let people know. So for example, LinkedIn statuses, like when you're posting a text post, a short post, or maybe it's a long form post, or even a video, the first impression really matters in everything. It's marketing, right? The first impression matters. So if you're telling a story, a short form post, what are those first 2 lines? So that's on your feed. You're going to see the first 2 lines. It's really, really important. How are you going to engage and bring people into your content? I like to say, don't just post out, but bring people into it. And so how do you bring people into that? So those first 2 lines, or the first couple lines of your post, are very, very important. And then the same thing with an article. Your headline of your article is really, really important to draw that reader in. And then a video. What are those first 2 seconds of your video, that people are going to see as they're scrolling down their feed? Also really, really important. And so all those little things are it's to grab somebody's attention is so much tougher these days. And so that's really, really important piece from all those, from long form, short form, and video. Those first 2 seconds or those first 2 lines are really, really important. But I also like to say is, if there's somebody relevant you want to shout out or appreciate or recognize, it's good I like to tag people in my posts. I like to say, hey, love what you're doing, love what this person's doing, or hey, you know what, community, these are 10 people you have to reach out to and you have to connect with, or you have to follow and learn from their content because it's just so good. And I love doing that and shouting other people up. By building other people up, I never would have expected my followers to grow, but I'm building community and loving the people that I'm surrounded with, because it's not about me. I just like to post about other people and some of the great stuff that they're doing, and just provide value. And it's just been a lot of fun.
Well, I just want to thank you so much, Fabio, for coming on today. And it's always a pleasure talking to you. I think you've given us a lot of tips on how we can improve our LinkedIn and what we can be doing as a content creator, and to grow our community, and how LinkedIn can be helping entrepreneurs or people in business, if you can actually have the courage to put your voice out there.
You are more than welcome. Your listeners are more than welcome. I've been just overjoyed and delighted to be on here. And Julian, I would love to do it again whenever you have the chance for me to come back. And yeah, if there's anyone that wants to connect with me on LinkedIn, I would be more than happy to share more learnings with you offline.
Thanks for listening. If you like this episode, please leave us a review. And if you have any comments, feedback, or even suggestions for questions that we should be asking our guests, even guests that you think we should interview, please leave us a comment on this episode at www.wisechase.tv.